Welcome back to the all my top 10 best Beyblade characters ranked worst to best, best to bestest, on with the countdown. And at number 5, Kiyoya Tategame, Jinga Hagani's toughest rival. Kiyoya is pretty much the Kai of the Metal Saga. He is the former leader of the Face Hunters, a gang of Beyblade thugs who terrorize young bladers. At the beginning, he was very cocky, ignorant, and arrogant, and was seen as an antagonist in the first few episodes. Kiyoya always focuses on the battle and doesn't hesitate when attacking his opponent. He doesn't back down from his challenges and has a strong concept of honor as a blader. He gives his all during battle and expects other bladers to do the same. While under Doji's alliance, he became a cold-hearted, emotionless blader and ruthless to a point of almost destroying Dark Ball and Flame Sagittario. He shows to be extremely maniacal, and he was shown in episode 9 and wanting to destroy everything and everyone. However, he came back to his normal self after his battle against Jinga making him realize that he could never have become strong without Leon, and yeah, Kiyoya is sorry about that. After quitting his alliances with Doji, he is on the good side, and he also becomes more mature and wise. In the manga, he is a lot more friendly and talks a lot more than he does in the anime. Now he is known to be one of the more serious characters in the show compared to the energetic Jinga. I suppose he did this because if he was like that, he'd be a bit more like Tsubasa, I bet. And I suppose they wanted a more Kai character, just so we could see that contrast between Jinga. And he is a very determined person and would do anything to go to great lengths to fulfill his determination and his dream to defeat Jinga. Kiyoya is one of the strongest players in the Metal Saga and is also the main protagonist in the story, as well as Jinga's rival. As it has been known throughout the entire Metal series, he wanted to defeat Jinga really, really badly, though he has never ever been able to accomplish this. He does manage to work hard enough to come close to his goal. He battled against Raigo in Metal Fusion, which was intense. He jumped a bloody tornado in Metal Masters to try and let Leon absorb its power. My gosh, this dude is committed to defeating Jinga. And he does come close. He has a tie against Jinga twice in Metal Masters. And in Season 3, where his character development truly shines, Aguma confronts him in battle and keeps questioning why he's always with Jinga and his friends. When Kiyoya keeps constantly saying that he is a lone blader who fights alone and battles alone. That was such a great question, as I was always wondering why he keeps saying that. He starts having conflicted feelings because of this and leaves Jinga and the gang and doesn't want to be a legendary blader anymore. But when he goes in hideout and he reunites with you unexpectedly and he meets the final legendary blader Tiffy, Yu tells him that he cannot escape his destiny because it was fate that this was all meant to happen. He and Yu finding Tiffy and Yu convincing Kiyoya to go back to being a legendary blader, and Kiyoya realizes that he was wrong and accepts his fate as a legendary blader and finally accepts Jinga's gang and is once again their friend. Now, I don't really have any problems with Kiyoya. He's a pretty cool dude. I do like his costume in Metal Fury more. His Bay Leon does go through some transformation. It's Rock Leon, then it's Fang Leon. Personally, I actually preferred Rock Leon. It looks a lot more cooler, to be honest with you. I think he's a little too obsessed with wanting to battle Jinga and no one else, which does get on my nerves. But it makes sense when you think about it. Think about this. No one ever defeated Kiyoya before he battled Jinga. No one. And then Jinga comes along and defeats him. And of course he wants to defeat him. It makes sense. And Kiyoya's arrogance at the beginning of the series was known. He doesn't care about his teammates at first. Even though he respects his Bay, he does not care if, for people. But and he doesn't really respect Leon as much, but it changes during the survivor battle in episode 22. Rock Leon performance's tip cracks as a result of using a special move against Hyoma, which he comes to know. And Madoka makes him realize as she charges into battle for the first and only time to tell Kyo to not battle, and he realizes that he misused Leon and starts to take care about his bay a lot more, and he gives Madoka his bay to fix and repair countless times, which shows a change of personality, I suppose. And at number 4, Shu Kurenai, described as a genius blader. Shu is a favorite in his hometown. Another character I picked from the Beyblade Burst series, Shu is, in my opinion, the best character in the entire Beyblade Burst series. He does not rely on talent alone and is very hardworking when it comes to Beyblading. He is one of the best bladers to ever play the sport, managing to surpass Volt, Ahoy, and win his first WBBA tournament in less than a year. Shu is calm and patient and prefers to be alone most of the time. He maintains a cool exterior in front of others, however underneath this lies a burning hot fighting spirit. He's quite standoffish towards people he doesn't know well, with Volt and Xander Shakadera being exceptions. Because of this, he is sometimes seen as aloof and is even seen as a spoiled brat, as described by Rantoro Kiyama in the first episode of the anime. However, despite his usual stoic demeanor, Shu cares deeply for his friends, especially Volt, his best friend and childhood friend, and will always help them out or give them advice when they need it. In the anime, Shu is shown to be a good cook. This is because his parents are often busy and away from home, so he takes care of himself and his food looks damn delicious. Shu has demonstrated keen observation skills, such as when he noticed Daigo's guilt in cheating against Yu-Gi-Oh!, visualizing his opponent's bays in the stadium while training, and seeing Rantaro finish first when he saw the others racing each other. Shu had a bit of a stubborn streak when dealing with his shoulder injury. Despite strict orders from the doctor to give his body some time to rest and recover, he still insisted on practicing for his upcoming matches, and often denied being in pain only to keep his promise to Volt. This caused some friction between him and Volt, who, out of concern for his friend, suggested that he forfeited the battle. I really loved how determined he is to get better as a blader despite his injury. Heck, he even switches his arms and becomes a master at launching left. His English voice actor is pretty damn amazing as well, possibly one of the best in any of the Beyblade series. He is Adrian Petrui, I think that's how his name is pronounced. However, Shu's story starts to take an interesting and dark turn in Season 2, Evolution. Shu's personality takes a much darker turn in Beyblade Burst Evolution upon becoming Red Eye. He changes into a quiet, powerful and ruthless blader who is willing to destroy other bays to win. This drastic personality change is due to Louis Shigurasagi breaking his Storm Spriggan in the first season, and then later losing to Free De La Hoya, the strongest blader in the whole world, after he joined the Raging Bulls, a legendary American team. But I think his number one reason as to be the Red Eye is to also battle Volt as well. Hints that Shu may have been perfectionist habits, as he seemingly punishes himself for losing. His transformation is completed when he joins the Snake organization led by the mysterious Astem, and he cuts himself off from his friends entirely. As his alter ego, Shu seeks out those who possess a challenge to defeat, scouting the globe for practically strong braiders. This is an effort to improve his own skill in order to defeat Free and Louis one day. However, this leads Shu to push away his friends, most notably Volt, evidenced by him roughly shoving him aside and demanding him to leave after his identity is revealed, which was quite a surprising turn for the series. I wasn't expecting that at all. But his red eyes, it's a freaking foreshadowing. Why didn't I even notice that? This also leads him to believe that strength is more important than anything else, which is the advice he gave Boa a rookie member of the Snake Pit. And when Shu is put through the Weckering project, one of the tasks he has to accomplish to receive his new Bay, Spryzen Weckrium, is to eliminate Volt from his imagination and break their friendship entirely. This shows that Shu still cares about others, but he is being pushed into abandoning the things that made him happy in his old life. When Shu picked up Spryzen Weckrium for the first time, he became overwhelmed by the immense power it contained and ended up being taken over by a Spryzen spirit, to the point where he even stated to be Spryzen on several occasions, which is kind of a callback to when Ryuga was possessed by El Drago back in Metal Fusion. Kind of a rip-off. Lol. While under the effects of Spryzen's power, Shu acts more power-hungry, aggressive, and overall more hostile and ill-tempered, a stark contrast to his usual calm and gentle personality. It is interesting to note that Shu's personality as Red Eye is eerily similar to that of Louis, with his new desire to seek out opponents he views as worthy to face, and how he is set on defeating all those who stand in his way. He also starts to destroy other people's bays, such as when he destroys Gustium Maximum Garada, Norman's twin Noctimus, the reboot tip on Volt's Genesis Valtrex, and Louis' Nightmare Lunamore. He also tears one of Ken Midori's hand puppets, Besur, which was kind of a douchebag move. However, during his final matchup with Volt in the International Bladers Cup, Shu was freed from Spryzen's mind after Volt defeated him, and thus he became his old friendly self once again and pretty much, rekindled his friendship with Volt and the rest of his friends. Shu has a range of bays, too many for me to list on this list. But another thing about Shu, and it's kind of a mixed to negative aspect, is that this kid looks like a 12-year-old, but his voice, he sounds way too old. He sounds like he's in his mid-20s. He sounds way too old. And I like the voice actor, but he just sounds older than he looks, to be honest. I'm sorry. At number 3, we have got Jinga Hagane, the main character of the Metal Saga. At number 3, Jinga Hagane, the main character of the Metal Saga. What can I say? I love this dude. He's funny, charming, emotional, yet really passionate about bays. I absolutely love the character and his bay Pegasus. He has 3 Pegasuses throughout the main series. Storm Pegasus, Galaxy Pegasus, and Cosmic Pegasus, and a 4th including Shogun Steel, which is Samurai Pegasus, and 6 including the manga, Cyber Pegasus, which is just Pegasus, Storm, Galaxy, Cosmic, Wing Pegasus, and then Samurai. In Season 1, Jinga travels around Japan to get stronger and master Storm Pegasus in order to defeat Ryuga and take down the Dark Nebula and Doji. This is because they stole El Drago and supposedly killed his father. He meets many people, and I love how Jinga seems to just inspire people. Nearly everyone he comes in contact with just seems to gravitate towards this dude. His strength, his charm are also cool, and people just love that. Personally, Jinga had the best character development in Metal Fusion than Metal Masters or Metal Fury. Seeing how strong he got, teaching everyone about the blading spirit, also great, but his spirit is shattered when Ryuga taunts and defeats him. He seems to give up all hope and leaves his friends to find power. I love this part of the story where he sees what seems to be a protection of his father, telling him to not give up, but we as the audience know later on that that was no projection and that was his real father being there behind the glass ice thing wall. He redeems himself and gets better, but when Battle Bladers kicks in, he is confronted with the masked Phoenix, who claims Jinga doesn't have what it takes to defeat Ryuga and destroys his Bay points. I was gobsmacked by how determined Jinga was at regaining all his lost points to qualify for Battle Bladers. Heck, along the way he even creates a new special move. Jinga still is the main character in Season 2, and he still needs to make his mission to make sure he's the #1 blader of the world. He's just so memorized by his new Galaxy Pegasus, new power. He doesn't even take the time to master it. Yeah, after he defeated Ryuga in Battle Bladers, Storm Pegasus was destroyed, and he had to find a new Galaxy Pegasus, which was a legendary Bay. Apparently, long ago, Galaxy Pegasus was meant to defeat El Dragon, but it was too powerful, so they sealed it up and created a slightly weaker version called Storm Pegasus. Yeah. So Jinga goes and finds this true Pegasus, and at first it's hard to battle and master, but as time goes on, he becomes one with the Bay and he learns how to master it. This is, in my opinion, where Jinga doesn't get as much character development or growth. Yes, he's the main character. Yes, he's the number one person to have the main battles. But I do feel like the story slightly shifts over to Masamune Kadoya and his friends from the HD Academy, particularly towards the end of the series of Metal of Masters. But Metal Fury Season 3, Jinga is once again the main character. In terms of development, again, not much. He doesn't have the control over his new Cosmic Pegasus, but we've seen that already in Metal Masters. It isn't until way towards the end of the series where all of his friends give their power to Jinga, claiming that he helped the most identity great bladers and brought them here. It was a nice way to wrap up his story, but I feel like Jinga had the best development in Metal and Fusion. Shogun Steel, he's kind of a guest star. He kind of appears. He, changes Zero Kurigane to battle. Then he's kidnapped. I didn't like this part of the story. I didn't get why this boy was kidnapped. This guy fights against Nemesis, He defeats Ryuga. He destroyed Spyro Force. And he was kidnapped? Like, really? Really? That was just stupid. At number 2, we've got Tyson Granger. He's the main character of the series, and what can I say? He's cool. The number one Beyblader in the world, having won 3 world championships in a row. Well, actually 2. Season 1 and Season 3. Season 2 Reforce doesn't count as world championships. It was a national tournament. I don't know why they called it the world championships when it wasn't. Ugh. Winning the first with the Blade Breakers, the second with Mate, and the third with the BBA Revolution. Tyson was introduced as a cocky, confident and fearless blader who strived to be number 1. Even when he failed, over the course of the series, Tyson matured and has taken his responsibility from being a beginner to becoming a professional Beyblader seriously. Tyson is a strong-willed blader who is not afraid to speak his mind, and in doing so, he seems to get into more trouble than most kids his age, but he handles those troubles very easily. Tyson is famous for his sense of humor, which declines with each passing season. We'll get to that later on, until he becomes a young man Beyblading seriously. Tyson is a really popular person inside the series. He had a lot of fans even when he was an amateur. When he won the regional tournament, many people picked up Beyblading just to be like him and defeat him. He had lots of fans in his school, as shown in Beyblade V-Force, much to Hillary's dismay, but she comes to acknowledge and respect Tyson later on. Although he is popular, he doesn't seem to have many close friends outside of his Beyblading ones. Outside of Beyblade, Tyson doesn't make friends easily because of his competitive nature, but he usually leaves a profound effect on the ones he does, completely changing their attitudes and way of life. Tyson's reason for Beyblading, both in the manga and as briefly mentioned in the Japanese version of the anime, not the English dubbing, was due to the fact that his mother died, and in her absence, growing up, he began to turn to Beyblading. While he is determined and strong of spirit in battle, Tyson can be seen as being really rash and taking way too many risks. Tyson isn't very good at Beyblade customization and sometimes lacks common sense. Tyson's Beyblades use special attacks that take on the form of a dragon, and they are generally one of the fiercest and most powerful Beyblades around. They use the wind element, and his Bay is Dragoon, and he has so many. Here's a list of all the Dragoon Bays he has. God, that's a lot. Tyson and Dragoon share a bond that is legendary throughout the series, as no other blader shares this sentiment. Not even his teammates can do this with their own Bit Beasts. His Bit Beasts often gain more power due to his endless supply of confidence, coupled with the ability to push himself to unimaginable levels. But despite his coolness, he does have issues, and the main issue about Tyson is how his personality changes radically throughout the series. In season 1, Tyson was the cool, hard-headed yet calm dude who always seemed to motivate people into Beyblading, and who never seemed to worry about losing, you know. Yeah, he lost, but it's a game and he will win next time. But in season 2, he is seen as aggressive, sulky, overconfident, mean-spirited, and little fragments of his old personality are barely shown. He was even mean to his friends, including Hillary, and she barely did anything. She just wanted to help, and he just freaking lashed out at her for no reason.
I don't remember electing you team captain.
But I was just trying to help you.
I think I know what I'm doing. So just back off a little, okay? And to be honest with you, this whole practice thing is just a complete waste of time.
You're kidding!
You're crossing the line, Tyson.
I'm sick and tired of everyone telling me what to do. If you want to practice, then you go right ahead. Because I know I can beat that Crayola cyber piece of junk anytime I feel like it. You think so?
Would you stop, please? I've had it with
This
all this
is due
arguing.
to the fact that when
Don't you
V-Force was
remember we're all on the
premiered,
same side?
the show had caught up with the manga, so the director had to alter and change the plot, resulting in boring filler episodes and character personality shifting, including Kai's personality. I never ever liked Tyson in season 2 until the last 13 episodes of the show, where they had the national tournament and he befriended Zio. That's when he became the old Tyson once more, respecting his friends and not taking Beyblading too seriously, knowing that it's a game and he will win next time. But in season 3, Tyson became much more like his old self in season 1. In G-Rev, he was a lot more hot-headed in season 1, but not so much as in season 2. He also had a lot more comedic moments in this season as well, but the main difference with Tyson is that they aged him up each season. Despite the shift in personality, I have to admit, it was interesting. It is kind of boring seeing the main character act the same way throughout the series, and Tyson really does have a mixed bag of emotions, and this is why he's my number two spot. Now, before we crown our number 1 greatest Beyblade character, here are some honorable mentions: Brooklyn, Yu, Max, Masamune Kadoya, Kenny, and Aguma. And now at number 1, who is the greatest Beyblade anime character of all time? Who's the one that has the greatest character development, the greatest shift in character? It is the one and only, the Dragon Emperor himself, Ryuga. Ryuga possibly has one of the most fascinating arcs of any Beyblade series. From the evil bad guy antagonist to guardian angel to savior of the world, Ryuga has really come around, and each season his role as a character changes drastically. In the beginning of Metal Fusion Season 1, Ryuga was the top blader of Doji's Dark Nebula and chosen to be Lightning Eldrago's blader. The Dark Nebula hoped for Ryuga to master its power and become the number 1 most terrifying blader that ever lived. Well, sort of. Rago. Ryuga defeats and badly injures Jinga's dad, who he thought was dead. Due to the ferocious power of Eldrago, it put Ryuga into a coma, and once he was awakened and controlled Eldrago, he was able to defeat Jinga. Eldrago's goal is to steal all Bladers' power and destroy all Bays. This can be seen in Battle Bladers as he brutally defeats many Bladers who comes in contact with him. He brutally defeats Hikaru and ultimately scars her from Beyblading for life. Man, just his presence would make anyone want to give up Beyblading.
Hikaru!
He is a brute, ruthless guy like no other character. He is extremely dangerous and never really goes by the Bay rules. His battle against Tsubasa, Kiyoya, and Hikaru leave them all hospitalized in comas. This terrifying evil guy even brutally attacked the man who made him who he was. Without any hesitation, he strikes down Doji once Eldrago was at the height of its true power. But when his final battle against Jinga came to an end, it was revealed that his brutish actions were all due to the fact that he was slowly being possessed by Eldrago's darkness. Ryuga began to take note of this during his battle against Kiyoya, and he tried to force Eldrago to obey him and take him seriously. Jinga defeated Ryuga, and Eldrago lost, and his Eldrago was kind of cracked, but Jinga saved him from death from the height of that. tower stadium thing, allowing him to be the blader he was meant to be without the dark power. A few months later, and Ryu returns in Metal Masters with Meteor El Drago. After months and months of hell on earth training, trying to master the dark power, he found out that he had to become one with that power and use his bladed spirit to obey, to make El Drago obey him. Ryuga in this season is a lot more calmer than the previous season. He still has that brutal way of fighting and that hot head, but he is a lot more aware of his surroundings. He doesn't underestimate any of his opponents anymore, whether they are weak or strong. He even acts as a guardian angel again towards Tsubasa, telling him not to resist the dark power but to become one with it.
Don't resist it. Huh? The more you resist, the more it will control you. You cannot fight it, trust me. You must become one with it, understand?
Huh? Become one with it?
And tells Jinga not to rely on the power of his new babe but his bladed spirit. These two characters are able to grow far more than we expected, all thanks to Ryuga, which is incredibly ironic considering that Tsubasa would never have the dark power if Ryuga didn't steal El Drago, and Jinga wouldn't need Galaxy Pegasus if he didn't have to defeat Ryuga. So I suppose this is his way of apologizing. But he also aids in helping Jinga and Co in the finals of the World Tournament, but he's really getting paid back for the HD Academy. Dr. Ziggurat, the leader of the HD Academy, hired Doji to find a blader to try and master El Drago, who was Ryuga. And he wanted Ryuga to master El Drago so he can use the data gathered to create the Spiral Force energy. But their plans were all turned to dust when Ryuga couldn't master that power, and when Jinga had defeated Ryuga, so they had to start from scratch. And yeah, Ryuga was not happy about this. He didn't want to be a lab rat for them anymore, and this was his. Ryuga also helps Jinga release Spiral Force and destroy and defeat it. So is he on the good side, or does he really want to get revenge on Ziggurat? Well, in Metal Fury Season 3, he becomes a legendary blader. He's chosen by the Star Fragment Gaia as a blader of legend, and Ryuga starts to slip back into his old former self from Season 1, where when he hears the story about the legendary bladers from Jinga, Yuki and the gang, he starts to make his mission to steal all the legendary bladers' base Star Fragment and make Nemesis' power his
Story
own.
of yours isn't a lie after all.
What? Join us, Ryuga!
Don't be ridiculous.
Huh?
A new star fragment, huh? The Black Sun too? Very cool. So in order for me to rise to even greater heights myself, I will take control of it all with my own hands.
You don't get it, Ryuga!
Which is the Ryuga of Metal Fusion once again. The lust for power, you know. That is all he ever wanted. The lust of power, you know. But then, an unlikely foe tries to stop him. Yes, Kanto is also on a mission to make Ryuga force him to take him more seriously in order to join the legendary bladers. Ryuga doesn't seem to acknowledge Kento at first, but seeing how determined he is, decides to let him challenge him every single day. But when the time comes for the legends to face Nemesis, Kenta is so persistent at not wanting Ryuga to take Nemesis' power, as it could result in the same thing happening at the Battle Bladers tournament, with him being possessed by El Drago. But Ryuga is so sure that he can do it and make Nemesis' power his own, but Kenta still challenges and battles him so hard that even though Kenta lost, he managed to make a damage on El Drago, the first and only blader since Jinga at Battle Bladers to do so. This leaves Ryuga a little bit shaken, but he doesn't really care about this and he goes after Nemesis to try and take his power. However, the exact opposite happens and Nemesis obtains all the star fragments needed to be revived. Ryuga then challenges Raga to a one-on-one, not wanting his goal of number one blader to be destroyed, but when he is constantly knocked down and defeated by Rago, he starts to realize that he cannot do everything on his own. With Kenta standing up for Ryuga against Rago, he comes to a realization that he was wrong from the beginning and gives Kenta his power. He gives up his right as legendary blader and realizes that he only ever thought about himself and what he wanted: power.
Ryuga, you're okay!
That one time, It was only for a brief shining moment I became serious. I promised. Take it! Kenta!
Ryuga!
But never thought about how much that goal could hurt the people around him. It's tragic and really lovely at the same time, admitting to Kenta that he did take him seriously and his life is gone forever. This is why Ryuga is number 1 on my list. Not only is that he is the main character in, not only is he the only main character in any Beyblade series to be killed off, but the only character to go through such a drastic change. I loved seeing him on screen. All of his bays, Lightning El Drago, Meteor El Drago, and El Drago Destructor were all amazing. Ryuga gives Kenta his star fragments through Bay Spirit, which was not ever heard of. Even the villains and Dynamis were all pretty shocked by this. This made Kyoya and the other Bladers who were defeated by Nemesis to do the same and give their power to Jinga through Bay Spirit, as he was the last one standing in battle. So in a way, Ryuga's deed of giving Kenta his star fragment through Bay Spirit made him the savior of the world.
We won, Ryuga! You were watching, weren't you?
And that, my friends, is the reason why the best character of all the Beyblade series ever made is Ryuga, the Dragon Emperor. But there were so many other characters in the show that I didn't include. So many amazing characters, but these 10 just had some spark to them that just fascinated me so much more than the rest. But as well as there are characters in Beyblade that I truly love, there are characters that I truly despise and cannot stand. And that will be a video for another day. But thank you for watching this video and review essay. Please like, share the video, subscribe for more reviews, and comment down below and tell me who is your favorite Beyblade character. I have mine, but who is yours? With that said, thank you for watching. As always, Boyded signing out.